Another beautiful day for baseball in Chicago as the Brewers and the Cubs get set to wrap up this three-game weekend series. A chance for the Brewers to get the series after the Cubs won the opener on Friday afternoon. But yesterday, Ryan Braun continued to swing a powerful bat. Two-run homer in the first inning got things started on a very good note for the Brew Crew. Jimmy Nelson on the mound here this afternoon, trying to bounce back after a performance last week in Cincinnati where he did not have it. But at his best, everybody knows he can be very, very good. Good afternoon from Wrigley Field. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Matt LePay. Sophia Minard is our reporter here today as the Brewers with a chance to get 2 out of 3 here in Chicago. And let's start with one of the hot bats. We'll get to Braun in a moment. But how about Gene Segura yesterday? He was struggling for a couple 3-ball games. Wasn't struggling yesterday at all.
It's good to start talking about offense around here. I mean, the guys are starting to swing the bats. 2 of the last 3 games. They have been able to put some runs on the board, but all started for Segura last August 20th, when he really started to turn things around. He's staying back nicely, driving the ball up the middle. A 4-hit game yesterday after breaking an 0-for-12 drought. Slumps like that don't come all that much for Segura these days because he's been so consistent at the plate. The one thing the Brewers, I think, would like to see more of Segura is the base on balls, be more of a table setter, get on base via the walk and or the base hit for the big boys to drive them in.
Take a look at the T-Mobile Game Changer, and you see where Segura stacks up going back to August 20th of last year. That's a pretty good company, some pretty good shortstops, but no one has hit for better average than Gene Segura since the 3rd week of August of 2014. So looking for more of that productivity. This is manager Ron Renicky who talks more about Gene Segura.
I didn't know what the numbers were, but I knew the last couple games before that he wasn't swinging well. But, yeah, I think to bounce back and have that day, he's really done a nice job for us. He's probably unfortunately for him, he probably fits the second spot better in your lineup because you really want an on-base guy leading off. He's not a guy that walks a lot. He'll hit for a high average. In the second spot, he can bump people over. He can hit and run. He still steals bases. So ideally, he probably fits that spot better. But it just depends on what we end up doing with Gomez and where he is. But he's done a nice job.
Segura was in the 2 spot yesterday. It agreed with him very well because Carlos Gomez back in the lineup. And for anybody who was wondering, and I doubt there were many, as to how Gomez would approach the game testing the hamstring, he came out and let it rip right away.
Yeah, a lot of guys are going to come up their first time up after missing 2 weeks and take a couple of pitches. But he was on the attack. First pitch that he saw in yesterday's ball game, got a base hit. Any question about the hamstring, those questions were answered early on yesterday. Stealing second, stealing third. The Energizer Bunny, if you will, for the Brewers offense. He's the guy that gets things going, not only on the field, but around the cage, in the dugout, in the clubhouse. This is a guy that the Brewers sorely missed over the last couple of weeks, but he's back.
It's a nice warm day. Wind's blowing out again today, which could be favorable to a number of hitters, but maybe none more so than Ryan Braun. Rock, we are seeing the power come back now for the Brewers right field.
And he knew it was going to come at some point, but early in the season, he was getting the base hits, driving the ball to the opposite field, and all of a sudden, a lot of power hitters will tell you that once he starts getting that zone in and that feeling that comfort level at the plate, home runs come in bunches for these guys. And right now, Ryan Braun is in the middle of one of those streaks where he's making good contact, driving the ball to all fields, and 4 home runs in 4 games. That's exactly what the Brewers need. Not only do the Brewers rely on the home run ball to score most of their runs, but they rely on Ryan Braun to get it done. When he goes well, the Brewers normally have a pretty good chance of winning games.
Well, another thing that Ron Renicky's been able to rely on here, especially of late, is work out of the bullpen. It's been very good for the Brewers here these last several games. And as we continue from Wrigley Field, Sophia Minard will have more about that Brewers bullpen and how it's turned it up a notch as we get you ready for the Brewers and the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field coming up on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Field on Sunday afternoon between the Brewers and the Cubs. Jimmy Nelson is getting ready to take the mound for the Crew. And in yesterday's win, Mike Fiers was the story. 12 strikeouts for him en route to the Brewers tying a franchise record with 18 strikeouts in the game. And the bullpen just as good as Mike Fiers yesterday. Jeremy Jeffress, Will Smith, and Frankie Rodriguez combining for 3 innings, giving up just 2 hits. So we take a look at what the bullpen has done in their last 4 games in our Marshfield Clinic. Leaders in relief, 8 1/3 innings pitched for them, just 1 run allowed, along with 12 strikeouts. The opponent batting average, a very low 179. Bullpen coach Lee Tunnell spoke with me earlier this morning about how efficient his bullpen has been here lately.
They have a great work ethic. They come every day. They get their work done. We're about to get stretching here and get our stuff done, and they're prepared every day. They do their homework, and they're ready to take the ball, which is huge. Sometimes you can tell when a guy doesn't really want the ball, but all those guys in our pen actually want the ball.
Michael Blazek is also off to a great start over the first month. What have you seen from him?
Well, he's thrown strikes with all his pitches. He can throw any pitch in any count, which has been huge for him.
And what about the depth of this bullpen? So many options between the left-handers and the right-handers matching up in different situations.
Yeah, you have an experienced guy in Kotz, and Smitty had his first year out of the pen last year, so from the left side, we're solid. And then, with Blazek and Wooten being able to go multiple innings or come in and give you an inning late in the game and all that is huge. And then, of course, with Broxton, who can pitch just about every day, and Frankie also, it's a really good mix. And JJ, of course, he gives you some versatility there.
The Brewers baseball team rounding into better form this past week. The bullpen certainly a big part of that with what they've been able to do in their last 4 games. Carlos Gomez was a big spark for the Brewers yesterday. Can Aramis Ramirez provide the same kind of spark today as he returns to the Brewers lineup? Craig Kashan and Jerry Augustine will tell you who's in, who's out for the Crew as Aramis Ramirez returns to the lineup. We've got Brewers baseball coming up next for you on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time.
Summer has arrived here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Going to be a nice, warm 80-degree day for baseballs. The Brewers are going for back-to-back wins for the first time all season long, and it's good to have Aramis Ramirez back in the lineup for Milwaukee. He's missed the last couple of games with a nagging hamstring, and back in there full swing. Spent a lot of years here in Chicago, and of course before the series was, I should say the season began for Aramis Ramirez, he announced his retirement. His career numbers at 285, 371 career home runs, spent his entire career in the National League Central with Pittsburgh, Chicago, and now Milwaukee. He reflects on a career in the major leagues.
Everybody loves baseball in Dominican. It's our main sport. Everybody likes baseball. Since I was young, I like baseball. We play street ball everywhere. You know, in my neighborhood where I grew up at school, everywhere. That's the talk of the town. Everybody just talk baseball and breathe baseball. George Bell, he played for, he was an MVP for Toronto. He hit a lot of homers. He was good. He was a good player. That's a lot of stuff, you know. Just playing in the big leagues for 17 years, that's a nice thing to do. It's not easy, you know. You have to work hard. You have to be blessed with some abilities, and you got to stay healthy. And you know, I'll be able to do that. If I can do it all over again, I will. You know, I have a nice career, and baseball has been very good to me.
All right, let's hope Ramirez can heat up now. Month of May is here, Augie, and he was hitting the ball very, very well before he missed the last two games.
Yes, he was. On last homestand, hit 333. And when you talk about Aramis Ramirez, you think about an RBI guy, a guy with guys on scoring position, hitting over 300, can really swing the bat. This is a guy they need in the lineup. This is a guy they need to swing the bat well. He is a big part of this Brewer ball club.
He had hit safely in 7 of his previous 8 games before missing the last 2 and the day off in there. So he's had 3 days to give that hamstring, that left hamstring, some time, and hopefully he'll be full go here today. Add Ryan Braun's hot bat in this lineup as well, and we'll see if the Brewers can get the power game going and get some help for Jimmy Nelson as well. He is out on the hill today against Jason Hamill. Nelson needs a bounce-back game today.
Yes, he sure does. He needs a command and location early in the ball game. It's important for him to get off to a good start, and that starts with getting ahead of hitters, get ahead in the count, using all those pitches, having that good command. And one thing he's got to do, he's got to stay within himself. Take each inning at a time. Pitch each inning, throw the ball well, get ahead of hitters. Very important for Jimmy Nelson today.
A short outing last time for him. Did not make it out of the 3rd inning at Cincinnati earlier on this road trip before having to exit after giving up 7 earned runs. He had a very, very strong start to the season beforehand. So it's Nelson against Hamill. Brewers going for back-to-back wins and a series win as well here from Wrigley Field in Chicago. Wind blowing out. Let's see if the offense can keep her cranked up. They got it going yesterday. Matt and Rock return for the start of today's game. We are all set for the third and final game of this series. The Brewers and the Cubs from Wrigley Field in Chicago. As the Cubs take the field, these teams splitting the first 2 games. The Brewers with a chance to get 2 out of 3 here in Chicago. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Gorgeous day for baseball again. We've been lucky all weekend. 77 degrees here today. Wind kicking out towards center field. They're telling us about 15 miles per hour, but it looks like it could be a little stronger than that. And we'll see what kind of a role that plays today. It's Ron Renneke trying to get his team to win consecutive games for what would be the first time here in 2015. Blue, though, has won 2 of its last 3. Let's check out the Brewers batting order presented by Potawatomi. Carlos Gomez, Gene Segura, and Ryan Braun at the top. Adam Lind hitting cleanup. Aramis Ramirez back in the lineup after sitting out the last couple of games, followed by Chris Davis. And in the bottom of the order, Elian Herrera, Martin Maldonado, and Jimmy Nelson. And that group will face Jason Hamill of the Cubs.
Yeah, Hamill, a Brewer killer. 5-0 career in 6 starts against the Brewers. And a 185 earned run average. First 3 starts for Hamill so far this year. Gave up 10 earned runs, but last time out, very good in a win against the Pirates. Went 8 innings of scoreless baseball in a 4-0 Cubs victory. Well, let's check out the Cubs as a lineup defensively, brought to you by Menards today. Coghlan, Fowler, and Soler in the outfield. Bryant, Castro, Russell, and Rizzo from third to first, and Miguel Montero behind home plate.
As we are ready to roll, as you take a look at those bleachers still under construction, the left field bleachers should be ready to roll for the Cubs' next homestand. Over in the right field bleachers, maybe more toward mid-season. Gorgeous day for baseball. Settle in, Brewers and Cubs. These 2 teams will match up again at Miller Park next weekend. But today's game concludes the road trip for the Crew, and Carlos Gomez, per usual, getting up there and taking a big rip. And we are underway at Wrigley Field.
Well, the one thing you got to know you're going to do is you're going to be swinging the bat against this guy. He's only walked 1 batter in his first 4 starts, so you figure he's going to throw you strikes. You got to be up there aggressive.
1 walk compared to 23 strikeouts, and that's been a trend here for this Cubs team. Maybe not that dramatic, but it's a team that doesn't walk many, and in fact, it strikes out more than 4 for every walk it allows. Talking about this Cubs pitching staff. Gomez back in the lineup yesterday and had a couple of stolen bases. And a base hit. Renneke was able to take him out, just trying to ease him back in as much as you could possibly ease in Carlos Gomez. And there's a ground ball to Starlin Castro in short. And there's the first out of the day.
Yeah, a little concerned about the fatigue factor. The first game back after 15 games out. Get him through 6 innings, sit him down, and hopefully he's going to be able to get through 9 innings today.
Here's Gene Segura. Oh, what a day he had yesterday. And of course, Mike Fiers, the showstopper, with another stellar performance here in Wrigley Field. Ryan Braun with a home run, but Gene Segura went 4 for 5, including a triple yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, a couple of RBIs, a stolen base.
Moves from the top of the order to the 2 spot with Gomez back in there. Cubs won Friday's opener 1-0. John Lester was terrific. Mike Fiers was every bit as terrific, if not better, yesterday. The Brewers were able to win 6-1, getting a couple of runs in each of the first 2 innings. And here's another chance for Castro. 2 outs.
Yeah, Hamill's not going to blow you away, but he's going to be able to locate both sides of the plate. He'll change the arm angle or the sight line a little bit, go up and down. 93 with the fastball. He'll throw a breaking pitch that sometimes looks like a slider, sometimes looks like a curveball, and a pretty good changeup that he likes to use against left-handed hitters.
And here's Ryan Braun. The power is returning. A couple of home runs, including a grand slam Wednesday afternoon in Cincinnati. Homered yesterday. 4 homers in his last 4 games for Brian.
Yep, they come in bunches like we were talking about when we came on the air today. Got that stroke going, elevating, and getting it on the sweet spot Bronny has the last 4 games.
This is popped up. And this will be Chris Bryant, the third baseman, calling for it, and it's a quick inning here for the Brewers. 9 pitches, all Hamill needs. Scoreless in Chicago. So now the Cubs will get their first crack at Jimmy Nelson here this afternoon. The rubber match of this 3-game series. Brewers and the Cubs. Let's take a look at the Cubs batting order presented by Potawatomi. Dexter Fowler back at the top. He and Jorge Soler have been flip-flopping this weekend. Anthony Rizzo hits third. Chris Bryant cleanup, followed by Miguel Montero and Starlin Castro. 7, 8, 9. Chris Coughlin, Jason Hamill, and Addison Russell against big right-hander for the Crew, Jimmy Nelson.
Yeah, third start career against the Cubs. He's winless, 0-2, and an earned run average just a bit over 5. Looking for a comeback start today. Was roughed up his last time out against the Reds. Control problems were his issue. Only able to get through 2 1/3.
That was the first outing of the year where Nelson just did not have it. 2 terrific starts, including his first against the Pirates. And then he was going pitch for pitch with Johnny Cueto in a game with the Reds at Miller Park. In between an okay outing at Pittsburgh, but in Cincinnati last Monday it was rough. Dexter Fowler leading things off. Fowler was hitting second yesterday.
Yep, 5 of the 9 walks issued by Jimmy Nelson so far this year came in that last start. Had a difficult time repeating his delivery. A lot of pitches in the dirt. It just was one of those games. So looking for a bounce back.
Yeah, a couple of wild pitches. Just a tough outing, but he has been good more often than not here in the first month of the season. And he's ahead 2 strikes on Fowler. Fowler yesterday was hitless, and it snapped a 7-game hitting streak for him. Nelson looking to win here at Wrigley Field for the first time. Brewers trying to win a series for what would be the first time since last September, middle of the month, when they took 2 out of 3 from Cincinnati.
Yeah, looking to win their first series of the year and win back-to-back games for the first time. Things that you wouldn't expect to have to be talking about in the first week in May.
A ball, 2 strikes to Fowler. And that's a good start for Jimmy Nelson, out number 1.
Yeah, there's that curveball from Nelson. That's been the difference maker for him. Really had a difficult time with that pitch in that start at Cincinnati. As we take a look at the Brewers Menards defense, Davis, Gomez, and Braun in the outfield. Aramis Ramirez back in the lineup. Missed a couple of games with a strain in that hamstring. Segura, Herrera, and Lynn from third to first. And Maldonado's called every game since Lucroy's been on the disabled list, but one.
Good to see Ramirez back in that lineup for Milwaukee this afternoon. Sitting out a couple of games. Actually came out late on Wednesday in Cincinnati. Was pinch run for. Jorge Soler hit at the top of the order yesterday, back in the 2 spot. He's been scuffling over his last 8 games, 5 for 33 in that stretch.
Hey, that's what Joe Maddon will do once in a while, to get a hitter out of his comfort zone, maybe give him a different look. Sometimes you get entrenched in your spot in the batting order, and you move him around a little bit, it might help a bit.
Look at the first-year manager of the Cubs. By the way, with that Fowler strikeout, you hope for the Brewers' sake that it's going to continue a trend. Cubs hitters yesterday struck out 18 times. The Brewers pitchers combining to tie a franchise record for strikeouts in a 9-inning game. There's Soler with a smash center field, and that's going to go to the wall. Soler turns first, and he'll have a stand-up double.
Yeah, got a pitch out over the plate, a fastball that didn't do much. Went right with it. Soler, when he came up last year, he was a guy that could shoot the ball all over the diamond. He's been trying to pull the ball a lot. Lets that ball travel a little bit and able to rip it into the gap. And Gomez not able to get to it until it gets to the wall.
So a 1-out double for Soler. And here's Anthony Rizzo, responsible for the only run of the game that Chicago had with a solo homer. It's his 3rd of the year. Rizzo off to a terrific start at the plate, leads the big leagues in on-base percentage at .480.
Yeah, very patient hitter at the plate. He stands right on top of it, so you really have to try and crowd him, but as Mike Fiers learned yesterday, if you don't get it in far enough, he'll take it out of the ballpark.
Rizzo went deep 32 times last year. Hit .286 in the process. Fastball is in there. To mention those 18 strikeouts that the Brewers pitchers combined for yesterday, and how that tied a franchise record. Ben Sheets took care of all of them. An outing in mid-May of 04 against the Braves. Nelson with a 1-1. And there's a bouncer to second. That's Elian Herrera. 2 men out as Soler moves to third.
Yeah, Sheets had that curveball working that day against the Atlanta Braves. I mean, I remember that game. It was in Miller Park. And I met amongst the boys that day.
Yesterday it was Fiers who just continues dominant work for the Brewers here at Wrigley Field. Here's Chris Bryant, who had a tough day yesterday, struck out 4 times. The Brewers have kept the young sensation quiet here, at least through the first 2 games of the series.
He has a good slider to start him out. Good fastball hitter, but as with most of these Cubs hitters yesterday, just couldn't figure out that Fiers fastball. Up in the zone, they kept swinging at it.
That was the Mike Fiers that Mike and the Brewers were looking for. There's a fly ball hit the center, and Carlos Gomez is there. And that'll do it for the Cubs. So they get a double from Soler, but that's it, and we are through 1 at Wrigley Field. Presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Move to the top of the second here at Wrigley Field. Middle of the order for the Crew: Adam Lind, Aramis Ramirez, and Chris Davis. Lind yesterday hitless in 3 trips. Did walk in that first inning. Brewers put 2 on the board in the first and 2 more in the second. En route to the 6-1 win over Jake Arrieta and the Cubs. And this is popped up. It is shallow left. And coming in will be Chris Coughlin for out number 1. I've got to think, and it's probably been that way forever here, with the wind blowing out, hitters are going to be in attack mode, unlike they normally would, perhaps in some cases. So you have more free swingers than others, obviously, but
maybe a little more of an uppercut today.
A little bit.
You might see some pop up, some over swinging today. Of course, that's just the opposite of what you have to do when the wind's blowing out here.
There's Ramirez, first pitch, hitting deep left field and gone. Aramis Ramirez gives the Brewers a 1-0 lead.
Well, picking up right where he left off. Right, not messing around. Missed 2 games, 3 days with the off day, and first pitch he sees, he knocks out of here into the empty bleachers at Wrigley Field.
Left fielder number 18.
Well, the Brewers play from on top here today. There's that fastball up, and Ramirez able to center on it. That was only 90 miles an hour. Number 3 for Aramis in our Powerball home run count.
Chris Davis attacking the first pitch.
You're going to see a lot of that, I think, with these Brewers hitters. Why not? He's not going to walk you.
Yeah. Just the 1 walk Brock mentioned so far allowed by Hamels this season. Ramirez with a big fly to start the second inning. Actually, after Lind fly to shallow left, and then Ramirez launched one to get the Brewers on the board.
Yep, the guys that have to drive in the runs are starting to do it a little bit. Ryan Braun, Ramirez. Guys that the Brewers count on day in and day out.
For Hamel, this marks a return to the Cubs. He, of course, was part of that trade last July 5th, along with Jeff Samardzija to the Oakland A's. Addison Russell among those coming to the Cubs organization. Hamel was off to what looked like a career year with the Cubbies. 8-5, an ERA of sub-3, and then went over to Oakland and lost 6 of his 8 decisions. And he gave up a lot of home runs. In fact, he gave up more bombs in 67 2/3 innings with the A's than he did in 40 more innings as a Cub. He had some quality starts down the stretch, but clearly it was a move that did not work out the way Billy Beane and everybody in the A's organization were hoping. So they were trying to stock that pitching staff, get them rolling into the second half of the season. And of course, for the A's, it was a postseason experience that lasted all of 1 game, losing in the wild card to Kansas City. Davis down on strikes.
Maybe something about Chris Bosio and the way he prepares Hamel, because Hamel really hasn't done much in his big league career other than his time with the Cubs. Tampa Bay, Colorado, Baltimore. You know, very average at best numbers. But with the Cubs, a little bit different.
Yeah, never more than 10 wins in any one season. And you're right, the overall record modest at best, but very good as a Cub and unbeaten against the Brewers. Hamel 5-0 in his career against Milwaukee. Elian Herrera, start number 8 for him this season at second base.
Like Chris Bosio is the only coach to be able to make it through the transition. You know, the old guard Rick Renteria last year into the Joe Madden era. So Bosio, the only coach, pitching coach, former Brewer, that is still with the coaching staff.
1-1 to Herrera, and he does not hold up. This Cubs staff has been good. In the early portion of this season. The 1-2 pitch.
The Cubs with a team earned run average at 360. That's good for 6th in the National League.
2-2 to Herrera. Martin Maldonado waiting on deck. The 2 outings last year that Hamill had against the Cubs. You go back to, I guess, the Brewers back in late April in Milwaukee. Gave up nothing in 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs. And the end of May gave up nothing. So the Brewers break through here against Jason Hamill in the 2nd inning. There's a soft liner to second. Addison Russell snags it, and that's it for the Brewers in inning number 2. But Aramis Ramirez back in the lineup, and he greets Hamill with a long drive to left to get the Crew on the board here in Chicago.
Potawatomi Hotel and Casino, Aramis Ramirez's solo home run gives the Crew a 1-0 lead, and Jimmy Nelson was roughed up in his last outing. 7 runs allowed, 5 walks as well. A surprising struggle for him after what he had done to start the season, allowing just 3 runs over his first 3 starts. But manager Ron Renicky saying sometimes it's inevitable that over the course of a season, a young guy with big stuff like Jimmy will have an outing like that, have trouble sometimes with his command. He says, we know the stuff is there, so it's a matter of him being consistent like he was over his first 3 starts. And he said, you know, there's nothing mechanically that Jimmy had to work on over the week. He said, we like his delivery, we like his rhythm. He said, sometimes the mental part of the game just takes over. A young guy will freak out, messes up everything, which you saw with the command issues Jimmy had in his last start.
And again, part of the maturation process is going to be important for Jimmy to forget about that outing and go back to what was, what was going well for him in his first 3.
Leadoff single from Miguel Montero here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Now Starlin Castro to the plate. Castro was part of a, you would call it, Little League home run yesterday from Logan Schaefer on a ground ball to short that was low throw. Anthony Rizzo couldn't dig out, and then Rizzo must have thought the play was dead. Schaefer kept running, went around to third. The entire infield really fell asleep for the Cubs. Rizzo throwing to no one, and Schaefer kept churning, and around third he came on into home.
There you go. That's a productive 0 for 1.
That is. Some craziness in baseball yesterday with that play, and there were 2 games last night in the big leagues that ended on interference plays.
Isn't that something?
Base runners struck by batted balls in play, both between first and second. Angels, that's how they lost to the Giants, and the Diamondbacks fell to the Dodgers in LA.
What are the chances, right?
Yeah.
You never know.
Castro off to a good start at the plate for the Cubs. .319 batting average. Nelson misses with a fastball.
The Cubs, another team that has never seen that Jimmy Nelson curveball. Of course, it didn't bother Montero too much. Nelson started him with the curveball, and he hit it hard into center for a base hit.
Three and one to the Cubs shortstop. This does get a piece.
Got a piece of Eric Cooper.
Played umpire today, and the crew chief. Hello.
That's a good way to wake up on a Sunday morning. A shot to the jaw.
4 count to Castro. Castro, a 3-time All-Star, led the National League in hits 4 years ago. All these prospects coming up. Remember Addison Russell, who's playing second. He's a natural shortstop. Russell, in his last handful of games in AAA, they moved him to second, and that's Russell's ticket to the big leagues. Starlin Castro holding the position there at short. Montero with a leadoff single. He's the runner at first, and on the move as the pitch gets away from Maldonado, but only to second. Montero will go. No further advancement as Castro draws the walk, and the Cubs have their first 2 base runners on in the second. So a little trouble here in inning number 2 for Jimmy Nelson.
Yeah, things went so well for Jimmy in his first 3 starts. Really didn't have much adversity to deal with. So I think the Brewers, particularly Rick Kran, is going to keep a close eye on Nelson to see how he handles it. Already in trouble here in the second inning.
Chris Coughlin, the hitter. Coughlin back in the lineup here today. Norfia handled left field yesterday. Rookie of the year with the Marlins 6 years ago. Coughlin in a season where he hit .321. It's a fly ball to right field. Ryan Braun going back. He'll have room. Make the catch. The runner at second will tag. Montero to third. Runners at the corners with 1 out.
Yeah, just didn't get all of it. I mean, anytime you get one up in the air today, pretty good chance it might be close. Sounded like you got it down on the trademark a little bit.
Now Nelson will work against the pitcher Jason Hamill, who just now checking in this series. Joe Madden has his pitcher hitting 8th, and Hamill can hit.
Yeah.
He has early this year, 4 for 11.
Yes, you have to make your pitches.
He is a career 136 hitter, and he has homered. And there's a fly ball to center field. Gomez drifting back. He'll make the catch. Montero tags. He'll score, and this game is tied. Sacrifice fly.
Yeah, just getting ready to say, this is where batting the pitcher 8th, it doesn't help you a whole lot. But first pitch, Hamill's able to bang it into center field to drive in the run. His first RBI of this year. So the leadoff single comes around to score. All arms, but able to get it deep enough into center field to score the run.
Go figure. Here's Addison Russell. Well, since Adam Wainwright injured his Achilles in the series against the Brewers and will miss the rest of the season, the talk came up about how the National League maybe should adopt a designated hitter. Wainwright was among those who was against that idea. He likes the differences in the two leagues. The way Hamill's swinging the bat, 4 for 11 and a sac fly a moment ago. Pros and cons to both sides, I understand.
Reds have some pretty good hitting pitchers.
And Mike Leake, who homered, Jason Marquis. Big swing and lost his lumber. 1-1.
I will tell you this about the designated hitter. There's a better chance that the National League will incorporate the DH rather than the American League giving it up. That's not happening.
Yeah, I think that is safe to say. Extend careers of hitters who may not have it with the glove anymore. And there's always that love of offense, no matter the sport. Get an extra quality bat in the lineup. Then there are those who love the decision making. We can all second guess or just try to guess along with how a manager is going to use his pitcher, use his bench. A ball, 2 strikes to Addison Russell. The modest 5-game hitting streak going on going into today's play. Well, the Cubs tie the game here in the second. Montero a leadoff single. Eventually comes around to score on a sacrifice fly from the pitcher Jason Hamill. Cubs enter the game 13-9. They're 3.5 games behind St. Louis. The Cardinals have won 5 in a row now. Pittsburgh yesterday 2-1. They wrap up that series as we speak. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball away, 2-2.
Yeah, there was a day that Sterling Castro would have taken off a long time ago. Still at first base.
Little bloop into right field. That's going to fall. A base hit. Castro on his way to third, and the Cubs have him at the corners again.
Not much you can do about that. Of course, the Brewers aren't going to be complaining about those hits. Had a bunch of those in yesterday's game. Did Milwaukee. Russell able to fist it over the head of Ilion Herrera. Bringing up the top of the order. Good pitch by Jimmy Nelson. Got in on him, but Russell able to muscle it into right field.
Back to the top of the order. And Dexter Fowler, who struck out in the first inning. Then kicking out, we've seen Ramirez go deep. Bloop single a moment ago from Addison Russell. He's the runner at first. Castro is at third. And there's a ground ball to Herrera. On to first, and that'll be it for the Cubs in the second. But they pick up a run, and we are tied here at Wrigley Field through 2. Chicago. Here's today's CarSoup.com trivia question. Name the 4 active players to have a 100-plus RBI season with 3 different teams. Name the 4 active players with 100 or more RBIs, 100 or more RBI seasons with 3 different teams. 8-9-1 here for the Brewers. Martin Maldonado will lead things off. He had a couple of hits yesterday. He was able to wrap out 9 hits after managing only 4 here on Friday afternoon. It's a ground ball to Chris Bryant. Third baseman handles it. First out of the inning. This is the 7th career start for Hamill against the Brewers.
Pitcher number
5
52.
decisions, all winning
Jimmy
ones, at a
Nelson.
1.85 ERA. Here's Jimmy Nelson.
Yeah, time to turn that around.
Yes, sir.
He's got good stuff. He locates well. But most of the time, just like Mike Fiers, he's going to be throwing that fastball. Fastball, curve, slider combination, and the changeup. But throw strikes with everything.
Signed his free agent deal with the Cubs back in December as he returns to Chicago. A 1-1 to Nelson.
We were talking about that designated hitter in the American League and no DH in the NL.
Right.
Did some ciphering down in the production truck.
Yes, sir.
It's less than a run a game so far with, less than a month in.
No kid.
It's 172 runs difference. 172 more runs scored by the American League and a little over 170 some games, in the National League. So less than 1 a game. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
Not sure what it means, but that's the facts.
The fan in me, and I guess I've just been in a National League. I grew up in more of a National League environment. I always liked not having it, but I get it. I get why you do.
Right.
That's when the Brewers go interleague and the White Sox will come to town. NL rules. Part of that next homestand. 10-game homestand for the Brewers starts tomorrow. And remember, if you're going, make note, it starts at 6:20. Brewers and Dodgers. Nelson with a base hit. Left center field, and that's going to go to the wall. Nelson digging for second. As we said, who needs the DH? A double for the Brewers pitcher.
Right. You got Jason Hamill driving it around with a fly ball, and now Jimmy Nelson, who never had a base hit in the minor leagues, coming up with a double with 1 out in the 3rd inning. That's a nice swing by Big Jimmy. Check it out. Here's a fastball right down the middle of the plate, and that's not a bad swing by the big righty. Hanging right in there, a little choke up on the bat, and finds the wall in left center.
And here's Carlos Gomez. Well, Jason Hamill is now added to a list that includes Jacob deGrom, Tim Lincecum, and Clayton Kershaw. Along with Hamill, those are the 4 pitchers that Nelson has gotten a hit off of. And Gomez, a base hit into right center. Nelson rounding third, coming home. Soler the throw. It is through. And Nelson is safe at home as the throw gets through. And Gomez dives into third.
I tell you, that would have been close had Montero held on to it. Well, Jimmy Nelson chugging around those bases. Ed Cedar sending him. And Carlos Gomez with his 2nd RBI since returning from the DL. I can attest sometimes you feel like you're running a lot faster than you actually are. Jimmy Nelson trying to get home. He's just lumbering around third base, and here it comes. And he probably would have been out had Montero been able to hold on to that baseball.
Soler with the throw, but Montero unable to come up with it, and Gomez on the throw moves to third. So here's Segura.
Another error committed by the Cubs.
They had 2-in-1 play yesterday.
That'll be an error on Soler and right. I'm not sure why Montero is behind home plate. I mean, Very rarely do you see a catcher actually set up behind the plate. You set up in front of the plate. But the Brewers get a run.
So it goes down as a single. Advancing to second on the throw, and then third on the error.
Yeah, check out what Montero is setting up. I mean, very unusual. Maybe giving himself a little bit more room to be able to play the hop. I'm not sure, but that's something you never used to see.
Yeah, you're right. He can't block the plate now. Here's Segura, and he is down on strikes.
Yeah, big strikeout for a guy that doesn't punch out all that much. Well, the Cubs had the infield back. All he had to do was make contact.
Yeah, that is just the 10th time that Segura has struck out.
And that's a big one.
2 men out. Gomez still the runner at third. Ryan Braun popped to third in the first inning. Brewers regain the lead here in inning number 3. And this is hit in the air into left center field. And this will be Dexter Fowler, and that's it for the Crew in the third. But pick up another run, and it all starts with Jimmy Nelson. Brewers lead 2-1. Hotel and Casino. 2-1 Brewers lead now. The bottom of the third inning here in Chicago. Hey, tonight Fox Sports Live will get you caught up on a full night of NHL and NBA playoff action, plus all the highlights of tonight's split league games. You can see Fox Sports Live tonight at 10 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, or see it simulcast right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Well, Jimmy Nelson with a double, helping himself in the top half of this inning. Now he'll work against Jorge Soler. 2, 3, and 4 in the order for Chicago. Soler trying to break out of a little skid, and off to a good start in his own right as he doubled his first time up. You mentioned what he did in his small sample size last year, coming up in August. Showed power.
Driving in runs. I mean, boy, he had a nice stretch to start his career of driving in runs. Showed very good opposite field power.
Nelson with the 0-2.
You figure he's going to get some pretty good pitches to hit, especially, you know, with a right-hander out there and Rizzo behind him in the lineup. So I don't want to walk Soler. to get to Rizzo with men on base.
There's Rizzo waiting. And again, the 2-strike pitch from Nelson. Struck him out. Out number 1 here in the third.
Nice.
Second strikeout.
Nice block by Martin Maldonado. A power slider. He threw that one with something on it, but Martin, as he does so well, able to keep it in front of him. Has caught every game but one since Lucroy has been on the disabled list. That's not an easy pitch to block.
Continues to turn in good work behind the plate. Ability to throw out runners, and as you just saw, block pitches. Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo, a ground ball to second in the first inning. Very healthy batting average. Hit his 3rd home run of the year yesterday afternoon. These two teams will see each other again at Miller Park next Friday, or this Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Today's game for the Brewers ends what is a 22-game stretch against the Central. The interruption will be just for the 4 games when the Dodgers come to town. And right back to the Cubbies. Dodgers, Cubs, and White Sox coming to Miller Park.
A couple of very defensive swings by Anthony Rizzo on back-to-back pitches. One on the inside corner and one off the outside corner. You don't see him do that very often.
Nelson ready again with the 0-2. Bringing the heat, mid-90s fastball. Over the mound, Segura diving. Oh, what a stop! Throw to first, got him.
Wow!
My goodness, what a play by Gene Segura.
Yeah, he's something else. I'll tell you what, he's got some great range, and watch how quickly he gets up off the ground and makes a very strong throw to first. Able to get Rizzo, taking away a almost sure base hit up the middle. Look at him. Gets up quickly, worth another look certainly. And gets the out. Only fully stretched out, bounces up and makes a good throw to first. Incredible play.
Wow.
That's him by a full step.
Absolutely worth another look. Presented by Columbia St. Mary's. Spectacular play by Gene Segura.
On the first base side of the bag. He was shaded up the middle, but well, went a long way to get that.
Chris Bryant. Well, Ron Renicky has talked about it a lot, especially last year, because we saw some terrific work turned in by Segura multiple times. His ability to lay out and then pop right back up.
I think the fact that he's not real tall helps him a lot with that. He's short for a shortstop.
Makes a big time play, a lazy fly ball to Ryan Braun, and that'll do it for the Cubs. Retired in order. One terrific play by Gene Segura. The Brewers lead 2-1.
One crew as we head to the fourth. The Brewers' annual 5-county, 5-day celebration begins tomorrow. You can save 50% on tickets tomorrow through Friday as the Brewers square off against the Dodgers and Cubs. For tickets, call 414-902-4000. Go to brewers.com/5-county.
Nice comfortable day here in Wrigley Field. Brewer fans making that trip down here, as Rock said, as they usually do. Adam Lind. Fly to center in a second inning, his first trip. And Ryan Braun passed him on the home run chart. And he'd been leading there for a time, this ball club, with the four big flies. Ryan Braun heating up on this road trip. Three and 0 to the Brewers' first baseman. Remember, Hamill has walked just one hitter this season coming into the game.
Yeah, which is incredible. He's only allowed 4 home runs. A guy that throws a lot of strikes like that. Well,
there's a ground ball, and that's fair down the line, and Lind on his way to second. Soler up with the throw. Lind is in with a double.
It sounded like he broke his bat, but able to tuck it inside that first baseline and in with a leadoff double.
Third baseman, Aroldis Ramirez.
Good start for the Brewers here in the fourth.
Yep, 3-1 pitch, a breaking ball. You can see, I don't know what was flying off the bat, or maybe a piece of gum. I'm not sure. Rizzo trying to get it down the line, missed it, and his 8th double.
Here's Ramirez, who homered in the second. Third of the year for Aramis. Back in the lineup, had some hamstring tightness. This is his first start of the series. As we talked about it, Craig mentioned it, Craig and Augie in Brewers Live pregame. I mean, there's never good timing for an injury, but Ramirez was starting to come out of that early season slump. And he's now hit safely in 8 of his last 9 games. 10 for 25 in that stretch.
Yeah, sometimes when you're getting up there in age, and Ramirez said this is his last season, maybe 3 days off, not the worst thing for him.
Yeah, Renicky has talked about planned days off during the course of the season, but yeah, you're right. You want guys like Aramis, Ramirez as strong as possible as you push through the hot summer days and then get on into August, late August, and the month of September.
That was a cross up. And Montero going to go out and talk to Hamill, man at second base. They used a series of signs, and Montero went after that one a bit unorthodox. So making sure they have the signs down. And Ron Renicky said he wants to give Ramirez days off before he actually needs them. Keep him strong throughout the year and healthy.
368 home runs as a third baseman for Ramirez, and that ties him with Greg Nettles for 5th all time home runs among third basemen. I know it's been talked about before, but it's worth mentioning again. Here's a guy who is putting together one heck of a career, and you hope for him, and obviously selfishly for the Brewers' sake, that this last season could be a big one for him.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he is capable. Just a matter of having that body hold up through the course of that long season. 2-2 pitch.
Yeah, one of a handful of players that has been able to collect 100 RBIs with 3 different teams.
There's Chris Davis waiting on deck. The count is full to Ramirez. And there's a fly ball hit back into right field. Soler, edge of the track, will make the catch. Lind will tag. And he moves to third. 1 out. Get back to that Carsoup.com trivia question. Name the 4 active players to have a 100-plus RBI season with 3 different teams.
Did I give that away?
Well, you gave away one, but
sorry.
There were others, as you see. Pretty strong company there for Aramis Ramirez.
I mustn't have been paying attention when you were introducing that question. That happens to me sometimes, you know.
Well, sometimes you need to help the viewer too. Maybe either drop a hint or just give away part of the answer itself. There's a fly ball to center, out number 2.
Well, the Brewers
will score.
Yeah, 3 spot on
yes, sir.
Jason Hamill, and the Brewers doing a much better job of putting runs on the board. Hamill had not allowed a run in his previous 2 starts against Milwaukee.
Next up, the second baseman.
And the Brewers get a run on that leadoff double.
RBI for Chris Davis, and here's Elian Herrera. Herrera lined softly to second in the second inning. Getting to start again at second base here this afternoon. Well, the Brewers trying to win this series here. They have won 2 out of 3. Won the final game of the series in Cincinnati Wednesday afternoon. Split the first 2 here in Chicago. Trying to slowly, step by step, build some momentum, climb out of this early season hole.
I guess your goal should be, if you want to really look at something, is to be back to 500 by the All-Star break, right? I mean, that's legitimate.
Herrera, a little bloop into center, and that's going to drop.
Got about 6 weeks before, or I should say 2.5 months before the All-Star break. So start winning series, putting some runs on the board, and maybe that should be the goal at this point for this team. But you have to do it by winning series, and this will be a good start.
Well, you get those veteran players, and the Brewers manager has spoken about it on more than one occasion. You get those guys playing the way they're capable. Gomez just being healthy, that's a huge plus. Braun showing the power. Ramirez with a homer today. Adam Lind has been swinging a good bat here in this first month of the season. Runner on the move. Pitch is taken, a strike, and the throw to second is right on the button. Well, Montero couldn't have handed it any better at the bag. As Herrera cut down trying to steal, and that'll do it for the Brewers, but they pick up a couple of runs. Pick up a run. Now lead 3-1.
Serving with the U.S. Marine Corps at headquarters and support company 2nd Battalion 24. 56 years of service.
Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Brewers up a couple. Adding another run in the top half of this fourth inning. 3-1 the Crew. The Brewers have now scored in 3 straight innings for the first time this season. Jimmy Nelson will be facing Montero, Castro, and Chris Coughlin. Montero singled and scored in the second inning. The veteran, 9 years with the Arizona Diamondbacks, a couple of all-star games, including last year.
He can hit, no doubt. Good hitter. Plays a lot. Doesn't need many days off. Of course, he's going to get a day off at least once every 5th day. When John Lester pitches, it's David Ross behind home plate.
We also have Wellington Castillo. Here's the 1-1. Curveball misses. Track in the Central. Pirates and Cardinals. They're in the top of the 5th. With St. Louis having won 5 straight, leading the Pirates 1-0. And the Braves have got the jump on Johnny Cueto. It's 4-0 Atlanta, bottom of the 6th. Two balls, 2 strikes to Miguel Montero.
And Cueto gave up only a few more runs than that in his first 4 starts, right?
That's exactly right.
First 4 or 5.
Yeah. 2-2 record and an ERA at 2.5. The 2-2 pitch. Nelson looking to get back to that form. He was lights out good against the Pirates back on April 11th. And was terrific against Cincinnati 11 days later. 8 innings, 3 hits, gave up just a run.
I think the word's out now on that curveball for Jimmy Nelson. That pitch isn't going to surprise anybody anymore, like it did his first start against Pittsburgh.
Well, the Pirates were completely baffled, and then his next start was at PNC, and the Pirates were a little more prepared for it. They got the running game going against him, but it still wasn't a bad outing. He went 5, gave up 3 runs, 2 of which were earned. And that gets by Maldonado, and Montero is going to reach. So ball 4.
Shortstop, number 13.
Pretty close to a swing.
Was, yeah, hesitating there for a second, but it is ball 4. The second walk given up by Nelson.
Probably would have reached anyway. Yeah. He held up.
Yep. Montero with a leadoff walk, and here's Starlin Castro. Castro walked in the second. We talked about him being a 3-time All-Star, this, that, and the other. He's 25 years old, still a young player. Part of that 25 and under club here that Chicago has in the infield.
Yeah, what, he signed an 8-year contract after his first or second year, and that's some good security, job security for a while.
Nelson ready with the 0-2 pitch. Yeah, he was someone who just a few years ago was a big time, well, maybe not a big time, but certainly someone you had to respect that he would run on you. He's had a couple of seasons with more than 20 stolen bases. Can give you the great play, can also turn the routine into a throwing error. We saw it yesterday. Logan Schaefer taking full advantage.
And Castro is signed through the 2019 season.
Has a little security.
Yeah, that's nice.
Good work if you can get it. Here comes the 1-2. Bouncing ball, Segura flips to Herrera. That's one on to first. In time. Double play. 6-4-3. 2 men out of the fourth.
And that's the thing you like so much about Elian Herrera. He can move all over the diamond. He can play anywhere for you. And able to turn that double play. Had to get rid of it quickly and put something on it to get Starlin Castro at first base. A couple of hops, you can see Castro busting it out of that box, and Herrera with a good throw to first, able to get him.
Two men out for the Cubs. Base is empty. It's Chris Coghlan.
Yeah, Herrera, one of the last cuts in spring training, and he wasn't down there long, was he?
No, he wasn't. That versatility he has.
Brewers are going to have to make another decision on Tuesday when Jeanette comes off the DL.
And Scooter, another hit yesterday, continuing his rehab assignment. Timber Rattlers. They're getting there. Still a little ways away from Jonathan Lucroy getting back into the mix. Gomez back. Jeanette on his way.
And again, I mean, you know, the team wasn't playing very well even when those three guys were playing, but it didn't help, you know, that they were all hurt in their efforts to try to get back to playing some good baseball.
Yeah, it'd be nice to at least get most of your opening day starters to the point where they're available, including that guy. His second game back was in the lineup yesterday. Nelson ahead, a ball, 2 strikes. Ready to go to work. Bounces up there.
Where doesn't he have a bruise? Right? I think Rizzo hit him with his bat on the backswing when Rizzo was up last inning. Number of baseballs in the dirt, foul tips.
Life of a catcher.
But he loves every minute of it because that means he's in the lineup.
Getting that chance to be the everyday player, so to speak, till Lucroy gets back. There's a fly ball, shallow right, long run, Braun, and he's unable to hang on. The throw to second, not in time.
He had it.
That, I believe, will be an error trying to make that basket catch. It was a long run, but could not hang on.
I think he actually overran it because then he had to use the basket catch. I mean, he was busting it. I think the wind pushing a little bit out there in the right. Never really had it in the glove and not able to correct himself and get a good throw to second base to get Coghlan. So Coghlan showing good hustle. You can see that baseball hitting the heel of the glove, and I would imagine that's got to be an error.
That will be the case.
Yep, overran it, not able to hold on to it, and Coghlan showing good hustle to get into second base.
So with 2 men out, the Cubs with a runner in scoring position. Jason Hamill at the plate. Hamill, a sacrifice fly in the second inning. Brought home Miguel Montero. Seeing both pitchers be able to swing the bat a little bit. Jimmy Nelson a double and Hamill a sac fly. He is 4 for 11 on the year. Bouncing ball to short. Segura. And that'll do it for the Cubs here in the fourth. Going to get a walk and error, but a double play and a ground ball gets Nelson out of trouble.
Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. The Brewers with a 3-1 lead as we head to the 5th. And on May 5th, Shatterproof will host the Shatterproof Challenge in downtown Milwaukee, where approximately 80 participants will rappel down the side of the Hilton Hotel. And at Miller Park, Brewers Community Foundation will present a grant to the organization. Shatterproof will have staff at Miller Park distributing literature to raise awareness for the cause. You can learn more about the event at www.shatterproof.org. And in the last inning, Matt and Rock, you were talking about Scooter Gennett. He does continue his rehab assignment in Appleton with the Timber Rattlers. Played 5 innings yesterday, went 1 for 3. It has not reported any issues with the cut on his finger. But Ron Renneke said, you know, when he talked to Scooter before he went there, he said, this is not something for you to just go through the motions. He said, we still need you to play well, and we need you to get your work in so that you're ready. He said, especially considering just taking Gomez off the disabled list. Yesterday, he played just 6 innings. They're trying to ease Gomez back in, but he said, we can't afford to do that with both Gomez and Gennett, so they need Scooter to be 100% ready to go when he comes back to rejoin the team, most likely on Tuesday.
No, and in all honesty, you know, Scooter's very inconsistent at the plate, you know, before he got hurt. And I think a little bit of frustration involved for Scooter, you know, throughout the early part of the season. So Ron Renneke, I think you read between the lines, said, hey, get your stroke down, and because we're going to need you when you come back.
Here's Jimmy Nelson. He doubled his first trip in the 3rd inning. So has the 4 hits, 3 last year, and 1 today, and the double this year, obviously off the Hamel. Last year it was off of Clayton Kershaw.
He probably won't get that fastball down the middle again.
Well, last year people were having some fun with him because they noticed he really didn't know how to turn first, just running right through the bag. Like he knew a little more what he was doing. A little bit more what he was doing.
Hasn't made too many left turns out there.
Not a lot. He's made one today.
Yeah.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Brewers have put up runs in each of the last 3 innings. That is strike 3 call. Here's Jimmy John's delivery of the game, and this is Nelson in his first plate appearance. The gap in left center. And then right after that, Carlos Gomez able to bring him around on this base hit. So they tried to nab Nelson at the plate. The throw was not handled by Montero, and Gomez wheeled all the way around to 3rd.
Doesn't look like he has slid that much either.
limited work in that department. Second game back for Carlos Gomez. A 1-1 pitch. Fly ball to left field. Coughlin is there. And it's quick work for Jason Hamill here. He puts the Brewers down in order. Still 3-1 Milwaukee. Wrap up between these two teams.
I'm not sure what that was all about.
Yeah, not real sure at all. Now it's time for our Blaines down on the farm as we take a look at Matt Clark. And we saw Clark with the big club last September show some power, and we're seeing it, or they are seeing it in Colorado Springs here early. You see what he did yesterday against Omaha, but the 5 homers, 17 RBIs, and a solid average to go with it.
Yeah, had a great spring training. And proud for Clark. He can only really play first base.
Yep.
And the Brewers have a left-handed hitting first baseman. Well, that was a long conversation between Ron Renicky and the home plate umpire Eric Cooper. Not sure what it was about.
9-1-2 in the Cubs order. Addison Russell to be followed by Dexter Fowler and Jorge Soler.
He was talking to Ed Cedar about something. I'm not quite sure what.
No balls, 2 strikes to Russell. So far, so good for Nelson. The Cubs with a run on 3 hits. Two-strike pitch. Strike 3 call.
Yep, the old backup slider didn't do anything. And it fooled Russell. A lot of times you see that slider spin, you expect it to break away from you. That just stayed right on the inner half of the plate. So bad it was good. Just spins up there, doesn't move, and clearly in the strike zone.
Russell locked up. Here's Dexter Fowler. Fowler today has struck out. Grounded to second. And Fowler lays one down, and there will be no play. Picture perfect bunt. Fowler is on.
Now you have some of the best speed in the big leagues at first base.
Stolen 6 bases in 7 attempts this year for the Cubs.
And guys like Fowler, guys who can bunt for base hits, it really doesn't matter where the third baseman is playing. Ramirez in with the bag. They're thinking if I put it where I want to, they're not going to throw me out anyway. And they don't even bother.
One out, one on. Here's Soler. Doubled in the first, struck out in the third. Fowler 6 for 7 this season. Stole 11 bases last year with the Astros. Soler a big swing.
Get him up and in, get him down and away. You want to stay away from the middle part of the plate. And that's exactly where Nelson gave him one when he doubled into the gap. Of course, you can pitch anybody there, those two spots, and you'll have success.
Fowler was left stranded. The Cubs in each of their last 3 games have scored just 1 run. It was enough on Friday, but they lost their final game of the series to the Pirates on Wednesday night. And yesterday, 6-1 to the Crew. 3-1 your count right now. One strike pitch. Brewers starters looking to extend that Cubs offensive frustration. Brewers starters have been good this weekend. At the moment, standing at 16 in the third innings and have allowed just 3 runs. 1-1 the count to the Cubs right fielder.
That's a good slider. I mean, he's found that pitch again. Remember Ron Renneke talking that he'd like to have Nelson find that slider that he had in the minor leagues last year. Well, he's found it. It's been a good pitch for him lately.
They had it going for him in the Miller Park appearance against the Reds. Last Monday, a different story, but Nelson rounding back into form.
Well, he wasn't able to throw really anything where he wanted it in that start against Cincinnati. Just throw that one out the window.
Yep. The ball, 2 strikes. Fowler the runner at first. In the air to right field. Braun out of play.
Man, there is literally no foul territory down in the corner down there. Foul line runs right along the brick wall. There it is. Good luck.
It's that other foul line that will always be infamous here at Wrigley Field. Not quite that deep. The famous or infamous series with the Marlins. That's just never talked about enough.
No. There it is, right over there.
There you go. You know the story. 1-2 the count. As Rod said, Fowler can run. Doesn't steal a ton of bases, but he, in his career, has had 4 years with double-digit triples, including 2010 when he led the league with 14. Stole 27 bases. That's the most in his career back in 09. Definitely a threat, and he's on the move as Soler fouls it away.
The Cubs have had a couple of opportunities today to steal. Starlin Castro was on first base for a while, didn't even try. And finally, Fowler at least makes an attempt.
Joe Maddon's team second in the National League in steals, 25 for this Cubs team. Only the Reds have more.
And very much aware of the equalizer behind home plate, Martin Maldonado.
Now holding a ball and 2 strikes. Maldonado has thrown out 3 attempted, including one in the series. He got Rizzo on Friday afternoon. Runner holds, and the battle goes on for another pitch. The Pirates were that team and has been able to run on Nelson a little bit. The game in Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago. Nelson and Soler ready to resume the battle. Fowler going, pitches away, and not in time to throw down to second.
Yeah, tough pitch to throw on for Maldonado. Up and away, and really didn't have an opportunity to square himself up.
So the Cubs are runner in scoring position.
Kind of lulling you to sleep. Not a very big lead. Not a great jump, but a tough pitch to throw on for Maldonado, and not even close.
Fowler now 7 out of 8. The 2-2. Got him swinging, but it gets by Maldonado, and they'll have to complete the strikeout with a throw to third. Or throw to first, rather, as Fowler moves to third.
Yeah, that might be a pass ball right there.
Yeah.
Well, they get the out. There's 2 outs, but you got the very dangerous Rizzo coming up now with Fowler at third base. Does it hit the ground? Is it in the dirt? Yeah, that's one that Maldonado's got to be able to pick.
And they're going to rule it a wild pitch.
Okay.
Here's Rizzo. 2 outs and a runner at third.
That's one of those ones that could have gone either way.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, if you ask Maldonado, he'll tell you he's got to catch that baseball.
He had one of those in Cincinnati that bounced up there, went through him, and it was originally ruled a pass ball, and then rightfully changed to a wild pitch. A fly ball hit into center. Back goes Carlos Gomez at the wall, can't get it. A run will score. Rizzo wheeling around second, and he'll get all the way to third.
Ball just kept drifting further and further in the wind, and Carlos probably should have had that one. But Dexter Fowler, after the infield hit, the bunt single, steals second, advances on the wild pitch, and watch Carlos go back. I mean, he feels as though he has this one in the bag, but kind of leaps before he actually had to. Wasn't sure how close he was to the wall. He could have taken another step and caught that one without jumping. So Gomez misplays that one in center field and costs him a run.
And the Cubs are within a run. Here's Chris Bryant. A 3-2 game and a chance for Bryant to pick up Rizzo, who stands at third. In the air, shallow right, Herrera. That goes up, drop it. The game is tied. Bryant to second.
Well, it'll be a base hit, but another baseball that should have been caught. He got there, he just missed it. Well, you figure that Gomez should have caught the fly ball in center. Herrera went a long way. Would have been a nice play, but he should have had that. Well, check it out. I mean, he feels as though I got this one. He two-hands it, but just can't hold on. Well, they tie it up on a couple of balls in the air that should have been caught that weren't. Well, that's why Rick Kranitz is going out and having a chat with Jimmy Nelson. And you're doing what you have to do. Should have been out of the inning a long time ago. And All of a sudden, 2 runs on the board, and it's 3-3.
Now batting the catcher, Miguel.
5th double of the year for Chris Bryant. And now here's Miguel Montero. Brewers trying to retire him for the first time today. Well, a couple of tough chances defensively, but balls that could have been caught that were not. And now we start over.
And Braun missed the ball out and right. So the defense not helping Jimmy Nelson today.
That's well hit. Center field. Gomez reaching up and pulls it down. So a good ending there for the Brewers. Nice defensive play by Gomez. Brewers let a couple get away, but Gomez won't let that get away, and we are tied through 5. Tough plays, catchable balls perhaps that weren't made, and then Gomez put an end to the inning by making a very nice stab.
Yeah, that was nice. He angled back nicely and leaped perfectly timed his leap, and able to keep it in the glove, and he holds on to the snow cone out there.
Yeah, good job securing it. Wanted to pop right out. Here's Gene Segura. 2, 3, and 4 in the order for the Crew. So a 3-3 ball game in this series finale. Segura with a little bloop that'll carry foul. Segura coming off the 4-hit day yesterday, looking for his first knock this afternoon. A ground ball to short and a strikeout. Average now at 292. Soft fly to right. No problem for Soler. 1 out.
Hey, next Sunday is Mother's Day, and all fans at Miller Park on Sunday, May 10th, to see the Brewers take on the Chicago Cubs. We'll get a special Mother's Day bobblehead of Hank the Ballpark Pup. That's courtesy of Pick and Save. Go to Brewers.com to reserve your spot today. The Bobble Hank.
Bobble Hank. Yes, sir. Here's Ryan Braun. A pop to third and a fly ball to center. Brewers trying to beat Jason Hamill for the first time. Hamill 5-0 against the Crew.
Yeah, Hamill with 9 fly ball outs today. He got 3 punch outs.
Yes. No walks, so that's kind of been business as usual for Hamill. He's walked just 1 hitter all season. This is his 5th start.
Yeah, Braun would have liked to have that pitch back as a hanger. Just a little bit underneath.
Hamill ready with a 1-2. Little chopper. On to first. 2 outs. A quiet day so far for Braun.
First base.
Let's take a look at our Powerball home run leaderboard as Adam Lind comes to the plate. See if he can go deep and tie Braun there. 4 so far for Lind. Ramos Ramirez hitting his 3rd home run of the season in the 2nd inning today.
They're starting to get him in bunches are the Brew Crew. Now 10th in the National League in homers. Spent a lot of time dead last.
Yeah, well, it took quite a while to get the double digits with the long ball power, but
Brewers now is 17 home runs.
Getting there. Lynn doubled in the 4th inning. Came around to score and a sacrifice fly off the bat of Chris Davis. Oh, 0-2 the count. Here it comes. Brewers trying to get back to having success against the Cubs. They had knocked them off in the season series 3 straight years, including 2 years ago when they won 13 out of 19. But the Cubs last year, struggling as they were, still won 11 times against just 8 losses. There's strike 3 called to Adam Lind, and that is strikeout number 4 for Jason Hamill. The bottom of the 6th we go, still tied at Wrigley. Sixth inning. Every weeknight, don't miss MLB Whip Around on Fox Sports 1 with highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around, weeknight, 6 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1. Streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Castro, Hoagland in the pitcher's spot. 6, 7, 8 for the Cubbies here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Castro has walked and rounded into a 6-4-3 double play. Castro takes a hack at it and pops it up. Foul territory. Ramirez will squeeze it. One away.
Hey, that brings us to today's time of the game winner, the settlement in Green Bay. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a 2015 Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. The settlement.
The settlement. Next trip to Green Bay. I'm there.
You going to hit it?
I feel an obligation to visit all the taverns at the game at some point we recognize. So, yeah. You been there?
Now, how do you think they got to be the tavern of the game?
It's my setup. Putting it, that was a batting practice right in the wheelhouse.
I can be bribed. You know, I'm not above that. Buy me a couple and you'll win. Just kidding. I have nothing to do with it. I do, however, walking around town, you know, people ask me why I never picked their bar, but
of course, just the messenger. A ball, 2 strikes to Chris Coughlin. Fly ball to right to the second and reached on an error. Ryan Braun a long run, but unable to make the basket catch. It off the heel of his glove. Cubs 3 runs on 6 hits. The Brewers 3 runs on 5. Coughlin, a lazy pop up, shallow right, and that'll be Herrera. 2 outs.
Man, third time that Coughlin has been eaten up on the inside part of the plate. And that time Herrera able to squeeze it.
2 outs, base is empty. Jason Hamill to the plate. Sacrifice fly for Hamill, producing the first run of the game for the Cubs. And there's a bouncing ball. Segura behind the bag. Lots of time, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jimmy Nelson. We are through 6, still tied at 3. By Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. 3-3 your score, top of the 7th at Wrigley Field. Good one going on here today. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Milwaukee Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Milwaukee Brewers, LLC. Ramirez, Davis, and Herrera face Jason Hamill. Ramirez homered in the second inning. Third long ball of the year. Takes a home run cut. The first offering from Hamill. Take a look at the plate presented by Wendy's. What Ramirez has done.
Hit that fly out to right. He hit that one pretty well.
Well up into those empty bleachers in left field.
Even the out that he made, he hit pretty well to right center. Soler right at the warning track.
Good to have him back, and hopefully Ramirez can stay on the field, stay in that lineup, and get a good stretch of games together as the Crew opens up a homestand tomorrow night against the Dodgers. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the third baseman.
Yeah, Dodgers in first place in the National League West. 3 games in front of the Padres coming into play today. They've won 3 in a row. Dodgers are 12-2 at home.
Fouled out of play. And they have a young player, young center fielder by the name of Jock Peterson, who came up last September, put up huge numbers in the Pacific Coast League last year. And he's a player to watch in the Dodgers ball club. And they have Kershaw and Greinke going tomorrow and Tuesday.
And Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, Adrian Gonzalez. Showing a fair amount of power here in this first month of the season. 8 home runs for him. Tied atop the lead with the Reds' Todd Frazier.
And looking at the standings, I think everybody figured that the Houston Astros would have a 6-game lead in the West.
How about that?
In the American League.
A 9-game winning streak.
17-7 are the Astros. Wow.
Break them up. Full count to Ramirez. And Aramis works him for a walk. That's how the 7th inning begins for Milwaukee.
Yep. First walk of the day, only 2nd of the season for Jason Hamill.
And here comes Joe Madden. Had Zach Roskup warming up in the bullpen, and he's going to turn to the left-hander right now. So Brewers trying to get the Hamill here. His ERA in his career against the Crew sub-1, 1.85. They put 3 on the board through 6+. Pitching change at Wrigley Field. We are tied at 3.
Clayton Kershaw and the LA Dodgers as part of the Brewers annual 5-county 5-day celebration. Tickets are 50% off for all 5-county residents. For details, visit brewers.com/5county.
And remember, tomorrow's game begins at 6:20. Get there early, 6:20. First pitch tomorrow night. Chris Davis at the plate and Zach Roskup on the mound for the Cubs.
He's been pretty good. He started the year in AAA, got called up on April 14th. And making appearance number 9. One of 2 left-handers down in that Cubs pen.
Well, Ramos Ramirez, a leadoff walk. Exit Hamill. And enter Roskup.
Kind of an interesting decision. I mean, I guess Joe Madden saying if you walk somebody, you're gone. He didn't walk anybody. 86 pitches. He was down near the bottom of the batting order. He brings in a left-hander for a number of right-handed batters.
Yeah, there's Joe Madden writing his own book.
Yeah,
that's how he rolls. 2-strike pitch.
I guess you throw your starting pitcher up there in the 6th inning and he grounds out to end it. And then you take him out after a leadoff walk.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Roskup came to the Cubs, part of that Matt Garza trade from Tampa Bay 4 years ago. Davis, a swing and a miss. He's out number 1.
Second baseman, Elian Herrera.
Last year, Roskup appeared in 18 games.
Basically a 2-pitch pitcher, slider, fastball. Not overpowering.
There's Elian Herrera. Single to center his last trip of the 4th inning and then was caught stealing. Almost got him. Herrera was cut down on a perfect peg from the catcher Miguel Montero. Brewers trying to bust this tie as we get to the 7th inning in Chicago. So 6+ for Hamill, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned. Gave up the solo homer to Aramis Ramirez. Walked 1, struck out 4.
He got that last fastball up there at 94 miles an hour, so that's not too bad. Got a bad scouting report today.
I have to check on that.
I think they're messing with me up here.
And they're at 93. 1-2 the count. Ramirez the runner at first. To right field. No problem for Soler. 2 outs.
That's what I get for listening to Jim DeShays.
Blame it on him.
Of course, I told him that Jimmy Nelson doesn't have a curveball, never did.
It's always important to pass along false information at every opportunity.
Exactly, because you know they're going to run down there and tell. I guess if teams are waiting for us to give away their secrets, they're in bad shape.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
They already know. If we know, they know.
Not many secrets left in this game.
No.
Martin Maldonado looking for his first hit this afternoon. Well, Roskup in relief here in the inning has struck out Davis. Got a fly ball from Herrera. That slider in there. 1-1. See if Maldonado can extend the inning here, which would lead to a pinch hitter. There's a ball hit into center field, but tracking it is Dexter Fowler, and that'll do it for the Crew here in the 7th. A leadoff walk, but nothing more. Bottom of the 7th, tied at 3. Interesting move there by Joe Madden after Jason Hamill walked to Ramos Ramirez. He went right to his bullpen. Jack Roscup came in and promptly retired Davis, Herrera, and Maldonado. Jimmy Nelson continuing his work day. He's allowed 3 runs on 6 hits so far. 9-1-2 in the Cubs order. Russell, Fowler, and Soler.
And last inning for sure for Jimmy Nelson. His spot is due up to lead off in the 8th. Activity down in that pen. You got Will Smith getting loose.
Two teams locked up in a good one to wrap up the series today. Nelson in front, 2 strikes and nothing.
Probably getting ready for Anthony Rizzo.
Slider fouled off. It's gone final in Atlanta, 5-0. The Braves beat the Reds. End of 7 in St. Louis. Cardinals holding on to that 1-0 lead over the Pirates. Michael Wacha on the mound for St. Louis today. Had a 2-1 game yesterday. A lot of pitching going on. Then the 0-2. We'll wrap it up for Russell as he looks at strike 3 call.
Yeah, right at the bottom of that strike zone right there. Eric Cooper's like that low strike today. And Jimmy Nelson exploiting it. I don't think you're going to get one much lower than that. Pitch 4 right at the knees.
One out here in the 7th. Top of the order, Dexter Fowler. Bunt single back in the 5th inning. Came around to score. One of 2 that the Cubs scored in the 5th to tie the game. Nelson now approaching 100 pitches. As far as pitch count goes, this is the heaviest workday he's had this season.
And he still looks good out there.
Sure
That's good fastball. Had some life on it. Slider's been good. Haven't seen too many curveballs today. It's been slider, fastball.
Well, it's all a part of you crossing up Jim Deshaies, right?
Right, yeah.
All about that spike curve.
I can in good conscience go back over there and say, yeah, you didn't see many curveballs, did you?
Anything to help the fellow broadcasters.
Right.
Or cross them up. 2-2 the count. Oh, again, strike 3 called. Back-to-back punch outs. Looking.
Boy, that's about as late breaking a slider as we've seen from Jimmy Nelson. And that one pretty much going straight down. It's a beautiful pitch right here. Look at Maldonado. Right down the middle, and just at the last second it goes straight down on Fowler, and once again that low strike getting called. That's a nice pitch, held right there in the strike zone by Martin.
Wow. 2 men out for Soler. Well, Jimmy Nelson turning in another very good performance this afternoon. Now trying to finish off this 7th inning and keep this game tied.
He's really only should have given up only 1 run today. A couple of misplays in the outfield. Tough plays at that, but plays that should have been made cost him 2 runs.
Yeah, that 5th inning, a deep fly that Gomez appeared to have tracked in center. As Rock said, tough play, not made, and then Herrera trying to run out, run one down, couldn't, and there's a 2-out single for Jorge Soler.
And that's probably going to be it. Now you got Rizzo coming up. That's why Will Smith was getting loose in that bullpen. 6 2/3, pretty good innings for Jimmy Nelson today.
And Ron Renicky pops out of the dugout, so we'll see lefty versus lefty. Will Smith against Anthony Rizzo. Job well done by Jimmy Nelson. Now he's going to turn it to the bullpen to keep this game tied. Brewers and Cubs locked up at 3. For the Cubs, it's our Marshfield Clinic shining moment to the game, and a good game. Good performance. Jimmy Nelson here today, 6 2/3, solid pitching.
Yeah, good bounce back after a very rough outing against the Reds. 2 1/3 innings, 7 runs in his last start, but able to regroup and get things together. 6 strikeouts, a couple of walks. And had it not been for a couple of fly balls that probably should have been called, he'd be leaving with a 3-1 lead.
Well, Nelson turns it over to the left-hander, Will Smith.
Well, Will's been pretty good as of late. He pitched in yesterday's ball game, pitched a scoreless inning here at Wrigley. Came in the 8th with a man on and got the only 3 batters that he faced.
Here's Rizzo, RBI triple in the 5th. So Soler, a 2-out single after back-to-back strikeouts from Russell and Fowler, both looking to begin this half of the inning. Count evens 1-1.
Yeah, the breaking ball for Will has been a good one. He's been putting it right on the outside corner to these lefties. Just don't want to hang one here with Rizzo at the plate.
Blocked by Maldonado. Wind that we talked about, the breeze, it's still there, but it's backed off to some extent here as we move into the later stages of this game. Last couple of years, Rizzo has fared well against left-handers. He's hit .310. Will Smith, when he's on, nasty either side of the plate.
Yes,
on the count.
Smith got him to pop out the short yesterday.
Big pitch coming up here in a 3-1 count. Soler at first. Strike 2 called. Rizzo didn't think so, but that doesn't matter.
Thought it was high. Still shaking his head. Fooled him. Had to play, but thought it might have been a bit high.
The count is full. Smith versus Rizzo. And here's the 3-2. struck him out swinging. Will Smith comes out of the bullpen and again keeps the other guys off the board.
A little bit of a rally getting Anthony Rizzo. Hey, the Brewers and Cubs again this next weekend at Miller Park. The first 10,000 fans, 21 and older, at the game on Saturday, May 9th. We'll get a Brewers fan flag courtesy of Miller Lite. For tickets, visit Brewers.com.
9-1-2 in the Brewers order. Pinch hitter coming up. Before we tell you about that, we'll tell you about the relief pitcher for the Cubs, Pedro Strop, on the mound.
And pitched a scoreless inning on Friday in the Cubs' victory here at Wrigley Field. Been pretty good. 13 punch outs and a little over 10 innings of work. Has not allowed an earned run.
And Gerardo Parra will pinch hit here to begin the 8th inning. He's 3 hits in this series. Trying to make it 4 here to start the top half of the 8th. Strop misses with a fastball, 2-0.
Low to mid 90s for Strop with a fastball and a good slider. To
left center field, and this is to the gap. And here's Parra on his way to second, and he is now 4 for 6 in this series. A double for Gerardo Parra.
Yep, got a fastball out over the plate and put a good swing on it. So the Brewers get their leadoff hitter aboard. Top of the order coming up. And Gerardo Parra, as you mentioned, is swinging the bat pretty well. There it is, out over the plate, and slices it into the gap in left center. So a good start to the 8th.
So he doubles in a pinch hit role for the second time in as many days. And now here's Carlos Gomez. And he lays one down. Strop, no play at third, and not in time at first. No one covering third, and the Brewers have him at the corners.
Yeah, I don't know why he's looking at third base, because there's no way there's going to be a play there. And once he did that, he's not going to get Carlos Gomez. He looked at third, then he's off balance, not able to get enough on the throw to get Carlos at first. That's a nice job by Gomez trying to advance the base runner. He does that, and he gets first base himself. That'll be a hit. At least I think it's going to be a hit.
I think so. Joe Madden on his way to the mound. Cubs bullpen is quiet. He's talking things over. Infield gathering. So runners at first and third. Leadoff double by Parra. Bunt single from Gomez.
I think that Joe Maddon's talking about what they're going to do in the event of a stolen base or an attempt. You couldn't ask for better speed anywhere at third, at first, and at the plate right now. A lot of things Joe Maddon's thinking about right now. And a lot of things the Brewers can do.
And here is Gene Segura. He went 4 for 5 yesterday, looking for his first hit this afternoon. Major opportunity here for the Crew.
And major opportunity to not only plate one, but have a big inning. And that's what Ron Renicke's thinking right now. He's got the guys in the order that he wants.
Segura, Braun, and Lind. So Pedro Strop up against it. The Brewers looking to cash in. The 0-1. Oh, that got him, and it got him in the face. Yep. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Oh man.
Oh no.
I just hope that it got a piece of the helmet before it got him. Well, every player knows when they take that batter's box, that something like that can happen. That's why you see the reaction of those Cubs players out on the field.
Miguel Montero, the catcher, was immediately motioning to the Brewers dugout to get the athletic trainers out there, as they tend to Gene Segura.
I just hope that that pitch got the helmet.
Well, that'll make you exhale in a hurry.
Oh boy, you couldn't have asked for a better turnout right there. Wow. On his feet. Squaring around the bunt. Fastball at 95. It did get the helmet.
Did.
And thank God for that. And nowhere for him to go. Couldn't get out of the way and got the helmet. And boy, is he lucky it did.
Boy. See Montero, he was motioning immediately.
Well, a couple of years ago, Major League Baseball changed the helmets to provide a lot more protection in the event of a situation like that. And I mean, just good to see him on his feet, let alone the possibility that he might stay in the game.
Going through all the protocol now. I mean, you can't look at that, and you've seen, unfortunately, previous examples. And Giancarlo Stanton came to my mind right away. I think to anybody's mind who follows this sport. But in the case of Segura, that helmet that absorbed that 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Pedro Strop.
Yeah, Major League Baseball very, very diligent in making sure that the concussion protocols are used in situations like this, and that's why that Brewers athletic training staff trying to make sure that Segura's got his wits about him. I mean, just to see him get off his feet is one thing, let alone you couldn't imagine having him stay in the game after that.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Wow.
How lucky is Gene Segura?
I mean, within a couple of minutes, you go from fearing serious injury to watching him jog up the line and get ready to continue in this game.
Well, you got to wonder how that's going to affect Pedro Strop now. I mean, you can't have something like that happen and not have it affect you somehow.
The bases are loaded with nobody out. And thank goodness Gene Segura is okay. And not just okay, but able to continue. Well, here comes Ryan Braun. Hit a slam on Wednesday afternoon in the 8th inning.
And the Cubs have the infield in. They're talking about taking a big risk. A little flare over the infield is going to score a couple. Brewers have great speed out there on the bases.
And time is called, and looks like Segura now is going to head to the dugout.
I think standing out there, maybe feeling a bit groggy. You can't blame him for that. I was surprised that he was going to be in the game anyway.
Yeah, I was shocked. So Segura will come out. Hector Gomez will come in to pinch run.
Ladies and gentlemen, pitch running at first base for the Brewers.
So now Ryan Braun will regroup. Gene Segura getting hit in the helmet by a Pedro Strop fastball.
Yeah, 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Yeah.
All right, here comes Braun versus Strop. Slider has him in front, 0-1. And with the infield in, here's the 0-1. Bouncing ball. Bryant's coming home. They get the force at the plate and over the fence. Double play. 5-2 to 3. Runners at second and third.
Well, Strop started him out with a breaking pitch and then came in on him with a fastball, and couldn't have asked for a worse scenario for the Brewers. Could have been a triple play had he, well, maybe not. He would have stepped on third. It would have been a force, a tag play at home. But they go around the horn, 5-2 to 3 to get the double play. Wow.
And they'll go ahead and walk Adam Lind to set up a force any bag. Plus the plate. And they'll take their chances with Aramis Ramirez. A lot going on here in this 8th inning. So Gomez, the runner at third. Carlos Gomez. Hector Gomez at second. And Adam Lind to the intentional walk. Bases are reloaded. So now let's see what Ramirez can do. Go back to the second inning, and here's how Aramis' day at the plate began with a launch into the bleachers in left field.
Hey, that was at 90 miles an hour from Hamill. Going to have to be a little quicker up at the plate right now with Strop throwing it up there at 95.
Brewers trying to break this tie. Had him loaded with nobody out, a double play followed by an intentional walk, so that sets up Strop versus Ramirez. The 1-0. Broken bat, and that is a fair ball down the line, and it will score 2. Aramis Ramirez with a huge 2-run knock. Runners at second and third.
Yeah, he broke his bat, but able to muscle it down the line and keep it fair. Boy, the Brewers needed that. Boy, it looked like Strop was going to be able to get out of that mess. The double play to Braun, the intentional walk, and then Rami able to double down the line, scoring a couple. Got in on him. I tell you, that ball was about a good foot inside. But Ramirez likes it in there. Watch the way he pulls those hips open. Got down on the handle, but muscles it down the line, and 2 big runs for the Brewers.
A Badger Mutual Insurance run of the game to give the Brewers this 2-run advantage. 5-3 the score. And Chris Davis steps in. So a single for Ramirez, advancing on the throw. Brewers have him at second and third. The Brewers were in danger of missing this huge chance. For Aramis Ramirez. A critical 2-run single in the 8th inning. It all started with the Gerardo Parra pinch double. Count of 1-1 to Davis.
And first runs allowed this year by Pedro Strop. He did not have an earned run average coming into this game. I guess you'd say he was due to give us some, right?
He was due, yes. Let's see if Davis can go bring in a couple of more. He's swing and a miss, and the answer is no. But the Brewers get a couple of runs. Aramis Ramirez back in the lineup today after a couple of games off. Comes through with a big hit.
And talking with bullpen coach Lee Tunnell before today's game, he said, you know, of their success here lately over the last 4 games, they all have a great work ethic. They prepare every day, do their homework, and he says they're ready to take the ball every day. And he said most of all, they all want the ball every day. He said they're all workhorses and willing to do whatever is needed. Ron Renneke said it hasn't been an ideal start for his bullpen. Feels he's still having a hard time getting guys in their proper roles, getting them enough work for them to be consistent. And he said this is what we're looking for, to get guys like Broxton and K-Rod into situations that they're meant to be in, late meaningful innings here late in the game.
Well, you have to have that consistent, you know, winning scenario, 7th, 8th, 9th inning. The Brewers really haven't been able to establish that too much this year.
They're looking to do that today. You saw the defensive changes. Gerardo Parra, who came on as a pinch hitter in the 8th, stays in the game in left, and Hector Gomez also stays in the game, a pinch runner after Gene Segura was hit by a pitch in the helmet. So Hector Gomez at short, and there's Jonathan Broxton on the mound.
Getting it up there pretty good this year. I mean, he wasn't throwing that hard last year. 95. He's been throwing more sliders this year than he was last year. He's given up a couple of home runs this year. That's why you see that high earned run average. Other than that, he's been pretty good in these spots.
And here comes the 1-2 pitch to Chris Bryant. Struck him out swinging. Good start to the bottom of the 8th for Broxton.
And get him to expand that strike zone with 2 strikes. That pitch right off the corner with something on it. See Maldonado setting up on the outside corner. And pretty close. Tough pitch to hit.
So now Broxton will work against Miguel Montero. It was interesting when Sophia was talking with bullpen coach Lee Tunnell, and Tunnell was saying that you can tell when someone doesn't want the ball out of the bullpen, but as Sophia mentioned, they all want it right now. They all want to be that guy.
You can tell with the body language and they're just their facial expressions when they get out on the mound. I mean, those guys are few and far between. You know, guys like that don't make it to the big leagues very often.
And Broxton brings it up there at 96. Brewers with 2 runs in the top half of this inning, and that is the difference at the moment. Jimmy Nelson with a good start for the Crew. Will Smith getting a strikeout of Anthony Rizzo to win the 7th inning with a runner on. Now they turn it over to Broxton in the 8th. Here's the 2-1. High drive and a base hit to center. Second hit of the day for the Cubs catcher.
He's hit the ball hard every time up. He did walk once, but every other time been hitting it right on the screws. He lined out to center in the 5th.
It took a good running catch by Gomez to end the inning. So 1 out, 1 on for Starlin Castro. In addition to the walk, he hit into a double play and popped out the 3rd. See if Broxton can get him to hit into another ground ball. Castro with a .312 batting average at the moment. Couple of home runs. He has driven in 12.
You don't have to worry too much about a stolen base attempt. Not down by a couple of runs. You got the catcher at first. Castro, not a guy that's going to walk a whole lot. He will expand that strike zone with 2 strikes. He's only walked 3 times this year.
This is a Cubs team that, for the most part, the exception being Castro, very patient at the plate, will work you well into counts. Broxton ahead of ball, 2 strikes.
Typically guys that don't walk at all have a difficult time hitting 300. Means you're swinging the pitches out of the zone, right?
Yeah. Castro above 300 this early stage. Hit 292 a year ago. Career average 285. A ball, 2 strikes. Got him swinging, chased one upstairs at 97. 2 men out.
Man, that's not too far off velocity wise of where he was when he was with the Dodgers. I mean, he was at 99 to 98 miles an hour back in his young days with LA when he was closing games. He's not too far away from that. 97 up there. There's no way you're going to get a piece of that. That's what we're talking about when you say a free swinger. That was literally head high.
Yeah, that pitch was a blow by. 2 men out, and Montero the runner at first. Chris Coughlin at the plate. And a strike to Coughlin. Well, Broxton gave up a 1-out single to Montero. He has struck out Bryant. He has struck out Castro.
It's such a big difference when you're able to work ahead in the count out there in the mound at 96. Very effective, but Montero had a 2-1 pitch. Hit hard into center.
Brewer pitchers in this series have struck out 36 Cubs. 18 coming yesterday. Put in 12 by the starting pitcher Mike Fiers. Broxton ready with a 1-1 pitch to Coughlin. Brewers bullpen, which has been very, very strong of late, trying to keep that roll going. Starting pitching on a pretty decent roll too. 8 quality starts out of the last 11. Count is even. Brewers trying to take this series and make it 3 out of 4. Still work to be done for Broxton. The 2-2. Little bloop to left field. Parra diving, and what a catch! Yes, sir. Gerardo Parra making another highlight reel play for the Brew Crew. Great catch. Cubs thought they had something going, but this is what Gold Glovers do. Gerardo Parra lays out, and the Brewers keep a 2-run lead.
Hotel and Casino. We are at Wrigley Field getting ready for Brewers Live postgame coming up after the ball game. Milwaukee a 5-3 lead right now as we go to the top of the 9th inning. So 3 outs away from securing back-to-back wins and possibly a series win for the first time. So Augie, I'll tell you what, the Brewer pitchers in this game, this series, I should say, holding the Cubs to just 5 total runs.
And that's what you have to do. You know, it's about this pitching staff going out and doing their job. You got quality starts out of the pitchers, number one. Number two, they're going out, throwing strikes, getting ahead of hitters. When you do that, you're going to have success, exactly what this staff has been doing.
And a nice play by Parra to end the 8th inning as well. The defense coming through for Milwaukee. We'll cover it all here from Ron Renicky. Get inside the clubhouse. Coming up, Brewers Live after the ball game. Matt.
All right, Craig, Augie, thank you very much. On to the 9th inning, Elian Herrera leading off. New pitcher for the Cubs now is Phil Koch.
Yeah, Koch appeared in yesterday's ball game, 2/3 scoreless for him. One bad outing a while ago, a .675 earned run average in game number 12. Has spent the last 5 years in that Detroit Tiger bullpen.
Herrera's swing and a miss. Koch signing back in March. A minor league deal. But here he is with the big club early in this season. 0-2 the count to Elian Herrera. Brewers with 2 runs in the 8th. That's the difference right now. Terrific catch by Gerardo Parra on a line drive off the bat of Chris Coughlin. Parra started that 8th inning with a pinch double.
Nice to be able to have a guy like that come off your bench and make plays and get hits.
Good combination, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That was a heck of a catch. I mean, a little bit of a risky catch. In all honesty, that ball gets by him, it runs in, and you would figure that the hitter is going to be at least at second, maybe third.
Once again, making a very impressive play. Made a few of them in this first month. Fly ball that'll carry out of play. Back to that catch that wrapped up the Cubs half of the 8th inning.
Got a man at first base, 2 outs. Montero on the move, and if that ball gets by Parra, that's going to the wall. Montero scores, and Coughlin probably at third base.
The 1-2. Hope misses with a fastball. Well, Brewers trying to wrap up this week-long road trip on a good note. They go home for the next 10. 4 with the Dodgers, 3 with the Cubs, 3 more with the White Sox. There's a rope that is foul.
Man, looking to go 3-3 on the trip. Take that, right?
No doubt. Started with a couple of losses Monday and Tuesday night at Cincinnati. Bats came alive in a big way Wednesday afternoon. Pitchers duel on Friday. The Cubs won 1-0, and the Brewers, they've put together, as Craig and Augie talked about, good pitching period. Starters, relievers throughout the course of this series. While trying to extend the lead if they can, or the Brewers, and there's Herrera with a base hit.
Yeah, his second hit. Koch tried to get a fastball by him, and we're able to get on top of that high heater and dump it into left field.
Let's take a look at what's on tap, presented by Miller Lite. Your matchups here: Clayton Kershaw. Yeah, he's 1-2, so you can get to him early in the year against Kyle Loesch tomorrow. Zach Greinke and Matt Garza on Tuesday. Yeah, Peralta and Fires out there for the Crew Wednesday night and Thursday afternoon. Our coverage tomorrow starts at 5:30 right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Remember, tomorrow's game first pitch is at 6:20. Martin Maldonado.
Hey, remember last year when the Brewers went to L.A., they beat Kershaw. They won the game that Greinke started. There'll be a little bit of confidence in that Brewers dugout, knowing that anyway.
Mentioning the Dodgers have been playing some good baseball. They've been banged up. The pitching staff, Brandon McCarthy the latest. He's done for the year. Still don't have their projected closer, their guy Kenley Jansen. Been mixing and matching. found a way to be a team that's gotten off to a good start. Oh, and 2 the count to Maldonado. Jason Hamill started, went 6+. Brewers got to Pedro Strop in the 7th. Now Phil Koch on in the 9th. There's a bouncing ball. Chris Bryant flips to second, and they'll say Russell held the bag. They get the force. Out number 1.
Yeah, not a double play ball, not even with Martin Maldonado running down to first base. Bryant almost threw it away. Yeah, dropped the arm, almost threw it away, but you can see Addison Russell able to keep the toe on the bag.
So 1 out, Maldonado the runner. Mentioned they said they got to Strop in the 7th. Actually, that was the 8th, of course. The Brewers put the 2 on the board. So Ramos Ramirez, the big 2-run single. And here's Gerardo Parra, who started that inning. With a double to left center. He is 4 for 6 in this series. And you see Francisco Rodriguez. Also, Michael Blazek is up. Parra waves at it, does not get it. 1-1. From here, the Cubs head to St. Louis. 4-game series with the Cardinals before moving on to Milwaukee next weekend. Here's the 1-1. Cubs will have their 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the order in the 9th inning.
Yeah, I'd like to end that thing before you have to deal with Anthony Rizzo. You don't want to get it to that point. That's not the guy you want to see coming up.
Let's see if the Brewers can add to this 2-run lead. Koch ready with a 1-2. Joe Madden has watched his team get off to a 13-9 start. They have lost but 1 series so far this season. A couple of splits, and they've won 4. Brewers trying to get their first series win of the year, and their first since mid-September.
Yeah, you got to get that monkey off their back.
Yeah, get that done so they don't have to answer questions along those lines anymore.
Yeah.
End it. 2-2 the count. And a high throw over to first, and Maldonado will move on to second. As Phil Koch just airmailed one on a simple throw over.
Isn't that something?
Man, thank you.
He just tried to lollipop it over to Rizzo and just missed everything. There it is. See you later. And Maldonado in scoring position.
Brewers today are 3 of 8 with runners in scoring position. Chance for Parra to pick up Maldonado. Cubs now with 4 errors in the last 2 games. 2-on-1 at bat, 2-on-1 play yesterday. A swing and a miss from Parra. And that is out number 2.
That elevated the fastball. He gets it up there pretty good. It seems like everybody's rushing it up there. He's thrown a couple of pitches in the mid-90s. Got that one up in the strike zone.
Joe Madden back on his way to the mound. And another pitching change coming up here in Wrigley Field. Brewers with a 2-run lead, trying to extend it. 5-3 Milwaukee as we continue from Chicago. Removes Phil Coke, brings on Gonzalez German.
Yeah, saw him yesterday. 2/3, gave up a couple of hits and a run. Well, the Brewers could use a little insurance here, get that 3-run lead.
German with the Mets the last couple of years. They'll face Gomez, who has a couple of hits today. Martin Maldonado, the runner at second. Gomez, first pitch swinging, a one-hopper to Russell at second. And that'll do it for the Brewers in the 9th. And leave a runner in scoring position, but we move to the bottom of the 9th. As the Brewers leading the Chicago Cubs 5-3, and it's going to be K-Rod time here in Chicago, looking to close this one out and get a series win for the Milwaukee Brewers. They are 3 outs away. Ramos Ramirez, big 2-run knock in the 8th inning. Brewers lead the Cubs 5-3 as we move to the bottom of the 9th. And on the mound for the Crew, Francisco Rodriguez.
Yeah, got some work in after being out for almost a week, had not pitched. 3 for 3 in save opportunities. He had a scoreless 9th inning yesterday, gave up a hit and then struck out the side.
He will begin by facing Chris Denorfia, pinch hitting. Eight, 9, and 1 in the Cubs order. And Denorfia going after the first pitch. He'll be followed by Addison Russell and Dexter Fowler.
Yeah, Denorfia, one of the guys that K-Rod struck out yesterday.
The 0-1. Bouncing ball and through and into center field. Leadoff man on for the Cubs.
Yeah, same start for this game as he did yesterday. Yeah, base hitting and 3 strikeouts. Now the difference is he's got a 2-run lead as opposed to a 5-run lead.
A little different scenario, save situation today, unlike yesterday. And now Addison Russell, who has struck out twice after singling in his first at bat in the 2nd. Rodriguez 3 for 3 in save opportunities. Trying to close this one out. Here comes the 1-0. The bouncer is foul.
Yeah, well, the change up, thinking that Russell was sitting on a fastball. Interesting that, you know, the first 2 pitches to Denorfia were fastballs. Denorfia able to single on the second one.
Here's the 1-1. That's in there. .351 career saves for Francisco Rodriguez. 10th all time in the big leagues. Here's the 1-2. Wheels are turning here at Wrigley.
Yeah, just trying to catch the outside corner. Pretty good chance he's going to get a change up here. It's just a matter of whether K-Rod's able to get it down in the zone.
Now the 2-2. Line drive snagged by Ramirez.
Yep, there was a change up and he left it upstairs. Oh, there's a break.
Maybe a positive sign when you're going bad. Those mistakes are doubles and homers. This one picked off by Ramirez.
Man, that's exactly what Maldonado is out there having a chat about. Getting that changeup down. And a good pick down the line by Aramis.
One out here in the 9th. Dexter Fowler, the hitter.
And once again, you got Anthony Rizzo in the hold. You don't want to have to deal with him.
Chris Denorfia led off the inning with a pitch single. One on and one out. The 1-1. Fastball in there.
Caught him looking changeup, didn't he?
Sure did.
That was right down the middle. That's been a strike all day, that low strike.
Now Rodriguez in the driver's seat. Here it comes. That almost got him.
Yeah. Surprised he got out of the way, right?
Uh-huh.
Just barely able to get out of the way. Didn't miss that jersey by much. Almost got the sleeve of the jersey.
2-2 the count. And now a chat. Maldonado and his closer.
They might be reminding him, hey, look, you're going to throw this change up. Make sure it's down. I'll block it. Pretty good chance he's going to swing at it. Just don't leave it upstairs like he did to that last one, that one to Addison Russell.
He got away with on a liner to third. Fowler is 1 for 5 all time against Rodriguez. The 2-2 got him swinging.
And he did get it down in the zone. Now, this is the guy you want. The young hitter, Soler. You got Rizzo on deck. You do not want to have to deal with him. A pretty good chance. I knew he was going to throw the changeup. Matter whether he's going to get it down, and he did. That's perfect.
Great pitch. So now with 2 outs and a runner at first, here is Jorge Soler, who has doubled and singled here this afternoon. 2 for 4.
Man, be careful with that get me over fastball to get ahead in the count. This guy will be hacking at it.
Runner going, pitch swung on and miss. Indifference. Norfia now prevents a force. 0-1 the count.
He doesn't mean anything. Nobody's worried about him.
Nope, defensive indifference. It's all about getting Soler and ending this game.
And he started him out with a changeup.
Oh, and 1. Rodriguez trying to save his 4th game and has many chances. And he's in front, 2 strikes. So now the Brewers a strike away. Two-run 8th the difference. And Rodriguez trying to finish it off. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Line drive, and it's picked off by Ramirez, and the Brewers win it. They win the game, they win the series, and now they head back home for the next 10. Francisco Rodriguez, his 4th save of the season, and number 352 in his career.
Now, how good has that bullpen been for the Brewers in this nice long stretch? These guys have been outstanding. K-Rod able to get the Brewers a victory before having to deal with Anthony Rizzo. That was the key. Don't want to have to deal with that guy. And Aramis Ramirez today with 3 RBIs.
Including a big 2-run single in the 8th inning as the Brewers win this afternoon 5-3. Let's send it down to Craig and Augie standing by with Brewers Live postgame.
How about this red hot team suddenly? Winners of 3 of 4 first series. We'll go over all the numbers. Hear from the Stars. Also, Ron Renicky. Brewers Live from Wrigley Field is on the way.